So good morning and welcome to today's live. So today's live is going to be one of the most important lives I have ever done. Do you know what? This year in 2020, I am actually shocked in terms of just listening to where clients are. And I just thought it's so important that I actually front load this into the group, because there is not one person that I have met in 2020, be it a prospective client or client who's come to us to work with us in 2020 who is not doing this. And I kind of find it really frustrating, because it's not for the lack of the client or the people I meet trying, right? So everybody at the moment in marketing, and if you look at the online marketing space, there is so much going on, right? So it kind of looks like, to all intents and purposes, that you're doing the right thing, but are you actually doing it right? So I think everyone's kind of caught up with digital marketing, social media. Everyone's kind of aware of the channels they need to be using, which is great. But there is some massive pitfalls. So this is like a repetitive pitfall that I am seeing. Like, I haven't met one person yet this year who I couldn't instantly, within 1 week, probably cut the time that they're spending on digital and social media in half, because half of it is actually not achieving anything. And also, more importantly, the reason I'm cutting the time is that they're just doing a lot of effort, but not getting much results. So my whole ethos now is about working smarter, not harder. And a couple of things that I want to cover in today's live is it's about posting on social media. So one of the things that I'm seeing hugely is that there is such an emphasis on social media and business that it's one of these things that people think, right, I've got to get it done. So people are not planning, because there's so much else going on and there's a lot of pressure in work. So a lot of people's roles are not just social media. So people are sitting down to do social media and it just becomes sell, right? And it's just promotionally focused. It's not getting engagement and nothing is happening. And then there's more pressure in the business, whether it's the business owner or within the team. So I did a post on social media, and the reason that this live has come to fruition is that I got probably about 25 messages within the first hour going, Dawn, what you said actually just really kind of resonated with me, and I think I might be falling into this trap. So what I posted, for you guys who didn't see it, is I said, well, look, okay, let's be honest. Are you really getting the results from the marketing, your marketing, that you want? Okay. And I think that first sentence with people was like, kind of, well, no, I'm not. Right. So honestly, this year in 2020, I have not met one person who said to me, Dawn, I am so pleased with my digital marketing, my online marketing and social media. I've mastered it. I've got a grip on it and it's really generating results. All I'm hearing is, I'm spending all this time, nothing's really happening. I want more leads and I want more sales, right? That is all I am hearing, right? So then I went on to say, are you posting on social media only to realize you aren't reaching enough of your audience, really crucial, and getting low levels of engagement, if any, okay? So people are like, yeah, actually, when I'm posting on Facebook, my post isn't really traveling. I'm hitting maybe like 1% of my page and reaching that. I've got maybe like 1,000, 10,000, whatever, but I'm only reaching a small amount. My reach is really low. And then in turn, when I'm posting, I'm getting like maybe a couple of comments and likes. This is what people are saying to me. Now, you'll notice on my posts, I don't have that problem. But also the irony here is that, I'm not being smug, is that I spend maybe 10 minutes a day on social media, right? So when I met a client last week, we started working with them at the beginning of February. And this girl who really kind of quite well skilled in the world of digital, had a lot going on in her job, and she was tasked with doing social media as part of it. And it's something that she kind of been self-taught, and you know, it's a free network, so you kind of go on and you think you're doing all the right things, but nothing's happening. And I look at her social media posts now. Number one, there was no targeting on any of her posts, right? So that is like taking this pen, right, and sort of just launching it into the abyss, right? Nothing is going to happen, right? For me, social media posting, and especially looking at hers, one of the things that was really kind of pertinent was that there was no thought or purpose or aim for any of the posts that were going out there. So when she was posting, it was just very much tell people what we're promoting, tell me people what we're launching, right? So you have to kind of start thinking about your social media as like a story, okay? So you can't just suddenly go, well, if someone said, what was your career? You can't say, well, today I woke up, started a business, earned £1 million, it was great, right? There's a story, there's a leader, right? So with everything in your brand and your mission and vision, it has to be a story, there has to be a leader. You can't just walk in to a networking event and go and poke somebody on the back and say, well, buy my product. You know, you start a relationship first of all. So my biggest thing is to actually create a story around your brand, okay? Brand stories are what people really, really engage in because we understand. Now, when you start telling a brand story, it revolutionizes your online presence, yeah? When you start telling a brand story, people really resonate with your whole positioning and proposition, yeah? But without that, it's just this generic post. And the thing is, especially on social media, you imagine on Facebook, it's absolutely saturated with users and content. So there's billions of people. So think about it from Facebook's point of view. When you're posting, right, and you put your post on there and you're on your page and you're thinking, right, I want it to go global, this is going to go viral. You have to think about it, that if you don't tell Facebook who the post is actually intended for, how on earth are they going to help you get that to travel, right? So we know with Facebook in particular that like 2 years ago, Facebook announced in the January that they would be limiting reach on people's pages. And then everyone just kind of zoomed across either to LinkedIn, jump ship, or they went to the fail-safe advertising. And then that takes me on to my next point with advertising. If you think about it, if you're doing adverts, it's very tempting just to go for link clicks, okay? And you start seeing that you're getting a link click at say like 40p or something like that, or even less, right? You're driving traffic through. But then you're thinking, well, I'm not actually seeing any sales, right? When you spend on advertising, the temptation is to just kind of get to the masses, right? The better strategy is to be looking at what that post is actually intended for, okay? So if you are trying to sell something, having a link click on an advert is really not a good strategy. You can waste a lot of money very quickly, okay? So you need to start thinking about actually conversions and only paying when someone buys, right? So if you've ever run an ad and you've paid for something, right, paid for advertising and not got a sale, then that is not right, okay? That's a massive pitfall. And I blame people like the social media channels for this, because they make advertising look so simple and they kind of take you through this guided template and you think, oh, I'm doing the right thing, I'm choosing my audience, I'm getting it all done. And then you whack a bit of money on it and nothing happens, right? So I am so passionate about this. I have like literally since 2020, my team will tell you this, I'm harping on about it nonstop because I'm finding it crazy that, especially with things like LinkedIn, you know, you go on and the navigation's not really clear. So people are wasting time on these channels and it's not guided. So the other day I actually sat down and my whole digital marketing essentials course, I have restructured to get these foundations in place and really kind of going back to getting people to understand the features and the tools and functionality, right? Because I think a lot of people think they know how Facebook works or how, you know, actually a lot of people don't know how LinkedIn works, but you kind of get used to using a tool, so you think you're doing it right. But actually, when I say to people, well, if you've ever pressed the boost button on Facebook and done an ad that way, that's the most expensive advert you've ever done in your life. Walk away from the boost button. Why? Well, when you think about it, I'm coming at it from a psychology and consumer point of view, and a business and marketing, and putting them all together. So for my clients, I'm looking at how do we use content to attract consumers and persuade for conversion for business, which is obviously sales, leads, and profit. Okay. So everything I'm looking at it in a deeper level for functionality. So when I say to people about the boost button, what they've not realized, and this is through no fault of their own, is that what you're actually paying is for the luxury to appear on someone's news feed for them never to see that post. So I would only ever want to pay for advertising that had an outcome, a result. Okay, so for me, I only ever pay for advertising if someone is completing the action that I want. Never have I paid for anything else, right? But on everyone's adverts that I've looked at this year, every single person I've gone into their ad managers, everyone is paying for the luxury of being on someone's newsfeed, where that could all be free, right? So it's a massive frustration for me, and I guess for anyone who's resonating with what I'm saying here. But one of the things I've also looked at here in this post, and this sparked a big amount of messages. I was like, are you actually turning your fans and your followers and connections into paying customers? So one of the things that I do on our courses, especially on things like the LinkedIn Accelerator, is it's all about, not just collecting people. I mean, we can all go and get connections. Like I could literally go out and find 1,000 people to connect with today. But of what purpose does that actually serve me? Is that actually doing my business any good? Well, not unless I'm actually turning a percentage of those connections, the ones who fit my ideal client, into paying customers. So I want you to think about, when you're doing your social media, number one, posting with purpose, okay? And this means sitting down and thinking what outcome you actually want from your social media. So when you post, what do you want someone to do? Again, when you're doing advertising, are you only paying for someone to buy something, right? So that you know that that spend has a massive return on investment. That's advertising. If you're thinking, well, actually, that's not happening in my business, then, that's not right. So try and think about it in terms of how you would really want to drive people to take action. Now, for me, I think about digital marketing and social media in clumps of time. So someone said to me as well on the back of this post, how long should I spend on my digital and social media marketing? Well, a lady I met last week, she was posting, nothing was really happening. It's very sales orientated. And we worked out she's spending about 10 hours a week on her social media, about 2 hours a day. And all she was actually generating from that was in a week, she'd had 19 interactions on all of the posts and not one sale, right? 10 hours effort from somebody who is getting paid in a business as a marketing exec. That's not good return on investment. But really, she wasn't doing anything wrong. She was doing all the right things, but she just wasn't applying a proven strategy. So she was kind of just floundering. We call it the pray and spray technique, right? So it's like try everything, see what sticks, and go from there, right? So 10 hours and 19 likes, that's not a good ratio, right? So for me on LinkedIn, I spend maybe 10 minutes a day, and I'm constantly growing my audience. I'm getting really good reach, and I get about 80% of leads for our business. And this is for things that I never really mention on LinkedIn, for consultancy, for speaking gigs. And that's because I'm seeding content all the time. People know what I do and my proposition is clear. I have really visible online presence and my positioning is good. I'm ranking in, top 1% on LinkedIn globally. So there's testimony behind what I'm saying. So if anyone ever thinks, right, okay, she's teaching SEO, they can go and look and see that I'm on page 1 on Google. So it's things like that. You need to start thinking about the whole story so people can see those 3 things. Now, when you've tried social media ads, someone sent a message to me, and this is really heartbreaking. They were doing an event, and they had spent something like 30,000 over a period of 6 weeks. And they'd had a load of sign-ups to the event. The event was down in Bristol. And out of the event, they had something like, I think in total, maybe like 350 registrations, okay? And they had something like 60 odd people turn up from that, okay? But the problem is what they were actually paying for those registrations. And it's just shocking. So if you think about it, that's like nearly £100 a person, right? That's a lot of money. So when we do events, right, we'll do ads and things like that, and we'll get people along. All of our events are paid, ticketed. So that means that you normally get a really good ratio of turn up. But our normal average would be about £1.50 for someone to register, right? Sometimes less. Sometimes the lowest we probably got to is for a landing page conversion, maybe cost us less than half a p to get someone to the page, and then obviously to convert. Now, we're doing things obviously at scale, but we're testing everything as we're going. So each time we're using ads, one of the things that we use, and this is important to consider, you should not be doing ads at all on social media unless you're building an audience. And building an audience means that you're collecting all of your past ads interactions. So for instance, let's say you did an advertising campaign, you've got this new video and you want people to watch it. And 100,000 people go on, watch this video. You want to be able to keep those people in a list, yeah? So that the next time when you do an advert, you've got that list ready and waiting. You're not going out to a cold market, you're going out to people who have interacted with your brand. And that's going to be far, far better. It's going to be cheaper advertising and it's going to have a better conversion. Okay, so these are like my main pitfalls. So my 3 things are posting on social media, not getting engagement. So actually thinking about what you're doing, but getting reach and targeting every single post. Yeah. On the channels, and again, they don't make this really clear. And this is why I spend probably most of my life going into corporate organizations and teaching and open courses and talking about the specifics, right? I could talk about theory all day long, right? And this is maybe why our courses are so popular, because I teach the actual step-by-step, not just, right, so you go onto Facebook and you set up an ad and you do this, right? Because that's where the pitfalls creep in, right? So for instance, you think about posting on social media, I have to show social media example posts. I have to talk through why that was successful, which element targeted it, how you got reach, and how you got the engagement, right? If you don't understand all of those principles along the way, this is when you fall into this client who I met last week, spending 10 hours on social media and get 19 engagements. So when you think about your fans into followers, your fans and followers into customers, in a week, you know, do you honestly know how many people reached out, sent you like a message, or got in touch with you via email, and became a client? Now, I posted yesterday, it was actually, and it was about a client of mine who's doing the LinkedIn Accelerator. And one of the things on LinkedIn is that she found it really difficult to be able to reach out to people of influence, people who had like senior positions in big global brands, yeah? And a week in, you know, she's off, she's done it, she got in touch with someone, and you can see the post on my feed. And she reached out to Louis Vuitton, and basically instantly said, they came back to her and said, yeah, great, we're actually arranging a yachting event, get in touch. I mean, that's a lead. So if you think about your social media, you need to be thinking about those interactions, right? And if you're doing social media and you're not getting that, it tells me that something's not right. And this is the sadness that I have when I'm talking to clients, because yesterday I met a client spending a lot of money on advertising, probably about £50,000 a month. And how much of that was actually returning on investment? Zilch. You know, that is heartbreaking. And I think this is why I'm kind of feeling so passionate about it, because it's not just big brands. I meet people who have started their own business, individuals, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs who are, you know, not necessarily just in the early stages, but are in the business and they need a return on investment, right? They haven't got masses of money or cash flow to be putting out, and nor would I, even if you did have that money, to be thinking put it out with no return on investment. Every action needs to have an outcome, right? So when you think about someone's spend of £60,000, if, for instance, I think about a client who's spending around about 50, they're getting about 150,000 profit on a £50,000 investment. Okay, so that's a lot of money on the back of it, on, you know, just doing ads properly. So when people say to me ads don't work, truly they do. It's just that it's knowing the exact steps to take, the order that you have to do things, right? So there's an order of testing. There's an order of audience testing, creative testing. There's a way of picking, obviously, the winners and then moving that on. There's a certain length of time that an ad has to run. So Facebook, for instance, can learn from it and start getting it to the best price point. So there's a length of time you have to wait. So when I see people doing an ad for like 1 day, breaks my heart totally, because I'm thinking, gosh, they've just taken that money and thrown it totally out the window because there's no Facebook learning. You know, they're not going to get to the best cost point. Okay, so the other thing, and you may have heard me say this is definitely one of my favorite things of the moment, is that an ad campaign has never ever in its life been one advert. So if you've just created one ad and put it out there, that's not an ad campaign, right? And that will never ever work, right? For me, there's stages in a campaign. So you think about an advert, right? You have to align it to the customer journey and where that customer is in the decision-making process. So for instance, if you're putting an ad out to somebody, what does that tell me? Well, if it's going out to a cold audience, so someone who's never seen you before, they're in their customer journey in terms of it's stranger. So they've no idea who you are. They don't know who your brand is. So trying to sell to them at that stage would be completely wrong in an advert. Okay. If you were going out to a remarketing audience, so an audience you'd collected from previous ad campaigns, like people who'd watched your video, and then you were asking them to sign up for a free something or another, would you get better conversion? Absolutely. So every ad has a consideration. And I think sometimes it's because we're in such a rush to get things done. Also, these networks don't make it very clear for us that it's easy to fall in a trap. So when I was starting out in digital, many of you will know that my background is a programmer, right? Programmer, God knows how I got into that. I'm a complete tech, right? So for me, when I'm looking at things like algorithms and things like that, all those things that no one actually finds very interesting, I do. The reason that that's good for my clients is that I will test and test and test until I find out how to align with the algorithm, how to appeal to it. So for instance, if I want to spend less time working on LinkedIn, I want to spend 10 minutes a day, there's certain things I have to do to appeal to that algorithm to make sure I get maximum reach, to make sure that my content gets engagement, to make sure that I'm getting myself out in front of as many audiences as possible without me having to do any work. So those things are all true. And it's all very, you know, nice for me to sit here telling you that that's what I do. But the reason I'm doing this is that I honestly feel that if you're going to make any investment into something, you have to know it inside out, right? Don't just be led into, well, I'm doing all the right things. I'm doing email, I'm doing social media, I'm doing LinkedIn, and then you're not getting anything. You have to really just stop today and think, what am I putting money, time, and effort into, and what is actually getting me leads, sales, and profit? Okay. Those are the things. If you were doing something that isn't getting you leads, sales, and profit, stop, go back and start thinking about what's not working, because you can't continue to just keep doing the same, you know, thing every day and doing this spray and pray to, you know, tactic and hoping something sticks. Because unfortunately, like my clients have, you know, experienced before they met me, is that they've wasted a lot of cash, you know, and I know that some people watching this are in the same boat, because I've had conversations and, you know how I feel about this, because if you're going to do something, master it, right? And that's what I'm passionate about. It's very easy for me to say, obviously working in digital, master it, but you know, that's why at the end of the day, I do training courses. My courses are different, because anyone who's been on my courses, it's not like pie in the sky theory. It's like, if you're going to do something and you're going to do this. Here's the pitfalls, here's how to avoid it, and this is step by step, and this is what it should look like at the end of it. Okay, I do not like people who train and leave them hanging, right? Because that's just going to result in everything that I'm totally not liking in the world at the moment, for online marketing. So this statement here is quite shocking. So I put this in my post. I said, I would say 90% of businesses and marketers are facing these problems, and small tweaks make a massive difference, right? 90%. 90%. So what I've been doing is I've been going through and looking at a combination of small, medium and big companies, looking at the social media to kind of chart where they're at. And I'm looking at ones who are doing it themselves and ones who are using agencies. And sadly, the market that is probably doing the best is the one that's spending the least even. And, even when you're outsourcing, it's easy to be led into the, an agency's doing it for me, and they bamboozle you with, we're going to do this, this, and this, and you kind of think that's great. And, they set it all up, maybe doing your ads or whatever they're doing for you. But you need to make sure that they are skilled, okay, and they actually know. I mean, I know this because I work with a lot of agencies. I train a lot of agencies. And I own an agency myself. We're not a done for you, we're a strategic agency, but the principle's the same. We couldn't apply a strategy for someone unless we knew that that was actually going to work. So think about when you're briefing an agency, or even if you've just got freelancers working for you, ask them the question, of what, their time is going to result in, okay, and the money you're spending, so that you've got an idea of return on investment. So if you're spending, say, £1,000 on advertising, you have to think about what is it that you're asking them to buy. So let's say you spend £1,000 and someone's going to buy something for £2,000. That means you've got £1,000 profit. That to me sounds like a good return on investment, okay? But you need to nail these things down before you start so that people have got a benchmark. And also, it will make that person really conscious that they are results driven, okay? When you don't mention results, people don't tend to react to it. So just be uber clear on it. Now, great news here. I've said that if you're in that 10% of people who are doing it correctly, so when we take clients into that realm and they start seeing results. So the lady I said last week, I saw spending 10 hours a week on social media. We got her down to 3 hours, right? So she was doing 10 hours and she was getting 19 engagements. She's now doing 3 hours, and now she is quantifying those 3 hours, okay? So their return on investment has gone up 742%. 742%. So she's moved from just getting interactions. So her engagement has gone up just over 300%. So that's obviously getting into 3 figures in terms of engagement, right? Her then return on investment. So we worked out what her time is worth per hour, and working 3 hours a week, and then looking at the spend on those activities, and then the profit in terms of conversion. So they weren't even getting conversions before, and now we're up to 742%. Small tweaks, that took a week, right? This is why I am passionate about digital marketing skills. Please, 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 if you're putting cash in terms of, if you're a business owner, your time is the most valuable thing ever, right? Into something, please, please, please know that you're doing the right things, but correctly, and that you're getting the right outcomes, and that you know what those benchmarks should be. Now, a post without targeting won't get very far. Absolutely, yeah, it's going to get maybe 1% reach. Again, if you're letting people comment, like, and share on your post, and they don't actually like your page. So for instance, on Facebook, let's say you post, and I go onto that post and I go, oh, that's great, and I like it and I comment it, and it's the first time I've seen you in my newsfeed. If I don't like your page, how are you going to reach me again? Biggest thing that I've seen. I've not found one person in 2020 who has kind of gone, oh, that might be a problem. How are we going to get to that person? We just paid for that person to do that. But clearly they're interested. How do we reach them again? Audience building, not happening. Amount of people, and again, met an agency last week, and they were saying to me that, they were doing some tactics for the clients, but it wasn't working. So we looked at 4 of their clients. Over the past year, 1 year, not one, campaign has included audience building. Absolutely devastating, shocking. I mean, like literally, this is why this week I've come out in a bit of a rant, I know, but I am so disappointed that number one, the agency would take money from a client and not get the results, you know. So they're losing clients. Okay, so they're losing money, but I'm feeling for the client, right? I'm feeling for that person who's paid the agency, putting their faith into that person, and clearly they don't have a clue. You know, as someone said to me this week, I won't mention because she's in this group, she said, put a question on. One of our team, Amy, had replied to her, and Amy said, I've just been talking to one of the ladies who's doing the Facebook course, and she said, it's just a real shame my agency couldn't tell her that, you know. And what it was actually just tweaking a feature. So for all this time, she'd never had this feature on Facebook until my team actually said, oh, you just need to go and do this and turn it on. Hey, presto, it's there, right? Small tweak. That took Amy 60 seconds and this lady probably 60 seconds to switch that on. That will have one of the biggest impacts on her business in the entire year. Right. And this is what I'm talking about. People need a level of detail, right? It's all very well going, do an ad and there's 3 structures and you do this, this and this, right? You need to know the detail. So the dilemma we're facing is basically anything you do, any action that costs you money. So if it involves your time or your money or your effort, yeah, that's a cost to the business. You need to make sure that it's actually serving you. Now, I've managed to have an influx of questions here. So let me just see how many people we've got. Oh my gosh, right, okay. I've got quite a few inbox messages. So I'm going to try and plow through these as quickly as possible. So bear with me 1 second. Okay, so first one, I'm posting daily, spending about 4 hours. Okay, yeah. Okay, so someone's just messaged me saying, right, Dawn, oh my goodness, I'm spending about 4 hours and yeah, I'm getting the same problem. Basically, you're getting kind of buzz on your social media posts. So what that means is that I talk about buzz and impact all the time. If, for instance, on the 23rd of March, I am going to the Business Book Awards, right? So believe me, you'll see me posting about that. Now, I'm hoping as a finalist that, you know, I would win. You know, that'd be really nice. I am crossing my fingers, yeah? So let's imagine I'm there at my awards ceremony and I've won, okay? I'm just trying to give positive vibes out there. What would I do? Well, I'd instantly post that, yeah? So I would post that, and that's like, you know, PR. It's saying basically that my book has won the Business Book Awards. Let's just keep posting positive karma out there, right? So what would happen? Then people would be like, oh my goodness, Dawn, that's great. Comment, liking, sharing, amazing. Yeah, okay. Will that be buzz or impact for my business? Well, it'll be buzz, right? Because it's just positioning me. It doesn't mean that it's going to generate a lead, right? It might do, but its intention is just to get engagement, okay? If I posted out there, right, okay, guys, I've got this amazing free mini workshop. It's called How to Become a Digital Influencer. Just get on board, you know, come and join. What is that going to do for me? Well, it'll get me engagement, but 100% it'll get me leads because people will go and join it. So there has to be a balance. Again, I met an amazing guy the other week at one of our events, 365 days of content and perfect posting, right? And said to me, oh yeah, my social media, it's really, you know, it's going so well, it's really working. So I had a quick look and I thought, okay, so you know, what sorts of return are you getting? You know, what sort of leads are you getting? Oh, I'm not getting any leads. See, that's a problem, because I think the thing is perception is that if you're getting engagement on social media, it's working. Well, social media has 2 purposes, and purpose 1 is to grow your audience so that you're reaching more and more people and you're building a community, right? And the second is to get engagement. So there's no point having a community if people aren't interacting. That would be like having a networking event with everyone facing the wall, right? So the thing here is that he was still in the world of being a social voyeur. So it was posting, right? So that's like going into the room, shouting a message out to people and then leaving, right? The difference is he came back to me a week later and said, Dawn, you're so right. I didn't get it. I was just a voyeur. I wasn't engaging in my community. I wasn't like talking to them. I wasn't, you know, getting to know them in a deeper level. I wasn't even interacting in anyone else's content. right? So when you think about it in ways like that hopefully I've struck a chord. Hopefully I make you think, right? The one purpose of this, right, is that I do not ever want anyone to be ripped off. I don't want people to be paying money to someone and not getting the returns. Now, there's a lot of people out there who are doing services, and I don't think the intention is there or malice that they're trying to rip people off, but they're just not delivering, right? So if you are outsourcing, make sure that you're outsourcing and you're getting results, and you know what those results are, you know, the return on investment, you know, that you're only paying for advertising or whatever it is on someone actually doing something, right? So I never pay for any advert that doesn't actually get me a return. So when people say to me, well, how much does your advertising cost? It doesn't cost me anything. For me, my marketing is a complete revenue generator. We do not have a marketing budget. Everything that we spend has a return. So there's no budget needed. So someone says to me, well, what are you thinking of spending on that? No, it's not that what I'm looking at to spend. I'll spend £1 million, right? If you give me 2 million. So when I'm in a meeting with somebody and they say, oh, have you got budget allocated? No, I just want to know what returns on investment I'm looking at here. So if you say to me, I'm going to spend 50,000 and I'm going to get 150,000 profit, fine, I'll do that. Yeah. So start thinking as marketing as a revenue generator, and start thinking about your time and your money and effort as the most valuable 3 things that you have in your business, right? They are assets for your business. Okay. So you do not want to be giving those away for free and without a guaranteed return. Okay. So hopefully I've kind of made you think about something, and if anything, I've saved you some time, maybe some money or some effort, right? But that was what today is about, because honestly, I really feel passionate about this. I can't believe, I can't share to you all of the client stories that I've had since January. I mean, literally we're 6 weeks in, and I'm meeting new clients hand over fist who are just coming to me with the same problems, and they're easy fixes. So the thing is they're like, so you can fix this? I'm like, yeah, you know, like literally, you know, it's as simple as going and investing 1 day of your time with me and I'll fix all of that, you know. And this is where it's at. I think the thing is in this day and age, everything is about return on investment. You know, people coming on a training course to me, they'll say, oh, okay, so how much does your course cost? Well, it's fast track. Let's say fast track is 1,549, right? 1,549. Okay. Oh, that's expensive. Or is it? Right. Okay. But generally, I can get your return on investment up by 7% and save you about 40% of your time. Oh, okay, right, okay. So again, when you're looking at your pricing and you're looking at what people are charging for you, weigh it up, you know, weigh up what the return on investment is. You know, if you're going to go to an agency or you're going to go and do any form of training, you need to know what you're going to get at the end of the day. Are you going to walk out there being able to take something in-house? Is that going to save you money? Right? Are you going to be able to walk in and know exactly how to get return on investment on ads? I mean, that's super powerful, right? That's huge. How many people do I get in a day message me about social media ads? I would say probably about over 100. Yeah, because it's something that people want to know how to do. And if you do it right, you get massive profits. Okay. So I show my ad campaigns and I show the steps I took, where they started, how they got to the second point, and the third. So these things that you are doing in your business, right? If you want to know what a benchmark is, or you just want to check, comment below and say, right, Dawn, I'm doing ads, but I'm not getting any return. Right. Okay. Well, fine. But you've got to think about what your aim was. So if you're doing an ad and you comment below and tell me a little bit more about what obviously you're doing, then I can point you in the right direction. Okay. But what I can't do is obviously on a message, go run through an entire social media ad, right? Well, number one, I wouldn't have a business because that's what my skill is. You know, I train people how to absolutely master online marketing to get returns on investment like I do. And that's my business. So I don't give that for free, but absolutely invest a day of your time and I promise you'll come out knowing that. So someone else put on here, thanks so much. I kind of needed to hear this today. Okay, so someone here, so just messaged me, a little bit exasperated on what they're spending. in terms of their new start. Money's going out for things like websites, all these other bits and pieces, and kind of feeling a little bit like nothing's working. So it feels to me like you're going through the pray and spray a little bit. So believe me, you know, everybody on in this group will have been here at some point where something just doesn't work. We've all tried things that doesn't work, but it's about kind of thinking what you think would have the biggest impact for your business and what return you would want. Now, honestly, when people come to me and say, I need more sales, well, actually what they need is more leads. If you need more leads and you wanted to know, honestly, what is the quickest way of doing that? Is advertising. Yeah, just learn how to do advertising or outsource it to someone who knows how to do it. Yeah. So any questions in terms of if you want to learn something, let me know. I'll point in the right direction. If you need a supplier for something, let me know. I'll point you in the right direction. If it's anything in terms of here that's resonated, just tell me if you know any of you are like in this realm. Are you feeling this at all? Because there'll be so many people out there who just want to know that they're not kind of alone. So share with me, you know, give me some feedback on today's session. Hopefully it was useful. Let me know if it was. And you enjoyed my little rant, but it's because I'm passionate about it. And I just don't want people to fall into the same pitfalls. I've seen people waste so much time, money, and effort, right? You know, we're all in this because we want, you know, to enjoy our lives. We want, you know, you never get work-life balance, but you'll get something whereby, you know, your home life wins one day and your work wins the other, you know, even if it's your own business or a career. And it's about why we're doing this. We're not doing it to run ourselves ragged. We want to be able to make choices. We want freedom. You know, we want to do nice things. You live once, yeah, and once only. So it's important that, you know, every bit of effort that you're putting in there, that you feel that you're just like motivated and you're getting something on the back of it. So let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed today's session. I'm going to go off and finish my coffee now. I've got another new client who we're going to be teaching some advertising for. And for you guys, we've got, what we've got coming up this week? Oh, we've got Instagram Masterclass on Wednesday, how to get your first 10,000 followers. So make sure that if you're not signed up, get on that Masterclass. It is amazing. We've just finished writing it, and it just kind of takes you through the steps that we did with a client in terms of getting them on there, and it's especially focused for business. What else we got? We have, in March, we have the 3-day fast track digital marketing. That's got the digital essentials, advanced digital marketing, and the digital creative and video marketing courses. Now, just so you know, you can attend digital marketing essentials, or sorry, it's digital marketing and social media essentials, advanced digital marketing and social media, and creative and video marketing as standalone, or you can do them as part of the 3-day fast track. Okay. Oh yeah, someone else is booked on to, oh, you're doing my fast track in London. Okay, so I shall see you then. Okay, so for you guys also who are doing the LinkedIn, we have LinkedIn course on 24th in London in March and the 26th in Manchester. So it's not too late to sign up to the accelerator, which is all about getting clients on LinkedIn. So any questions about these things, guys, just post it below, and have a lovely day. So take care. I hope you enjoyed today's session.